Imagine you get a horrific phone call that your father just suffered a heart attack. Then you're told that he will require heart surgery to repair the damage the heart attack has caused. And because of this, he'll need a blood transfusion. You're then told when you arrive at the hospital that he has to be put on a waiting list because there's not enough of his blood in supply. Now, as you wait impatiently to wait for a donor that matches your father's blood type, and think of how long this could take. Your father, who now needs to go under surgery, needs somebody else to potentially save his life. Most of us don't think about a shortage of blood supplies. We just assume that the hospital will have enough blood to supply the patients that are in need, like your father, who now needs heart surgery and a blood transfusion. But if you really think about how many people there are, and if everybody was required to donate blood, even if they only did it once a year, how it could provide saving a life. When was the last time that you donated blood at your local blood bank? I myself am guilty of not donating blood as often as I should. I've seen the local blood banks come and set up in the parking lot, and I just drive past like I do every day. And that's something that needs to change with everybody. Donating to your local blood bank can help save someone's life that you know, a person that's in need, and we should, as citizens, be required to donate to our local blood banks at least once a year. We're going to discuss why blood donations are so important, what you can do to help, and how being required to donate blood can help out your local communities. Let's begin by discussing why donating blood is so important. Local blood banks are always looking for blood for survivors of cancer, for accidents, for patients with leukemia. Blood shortage is always an issue. I'm sure you've all heard what's been going on in the world today. By reading the paper or watching the news, it seems like there's been more and more shootings and tragedies in the world. According to New York Times June 12, 2016 article on the Orlando gunman that attacked the gay nightclub, left 50 people dead and 53 others wounded, many of which needed those blood transfusions. There was a call from the blood bank to the community to help out because we needed these donations. But also, according to the New York Times June 15, 2016 article, there are limits on gay men donating blood, and the FDA will not allow them to donate blood if they've been sexually active within the last year. This meant that more people in the community, regardless of how they felt about gay rights, needed to come together to donate blood to help these victims. Even if it was not a shooting or a horrible tragedy like what was seen in Orlando, every 2 seconds, somebody is in need of blood. That's a lot of blood if you think about it. And the time that you've been sitting here listening to me, blood has been being used to help people all around the world. It may have helped your neighbor, your friend who has cancer, or the little boy down the street whose family just discovered has leukemia and will need a blood transfusion. For every 7 people that enter the hospital, 1 will use blood that has been donated. As we know, blood can't be made, so the only way to save life is to donate. Just recently, the American Blood Center's Washington, D.C., July 11, 2016 news article stated that there's an immediate nationwide need for blood donations in the summer. The nation's blood supply is significantly low in the summer because of family vacations, and schools are closed, so the high school can't set up blood drives. The problem here isn't just blood donations being low in the summer, it's blood donations being low throughout the entire year. Blood is necessary for the treatment of millions of patients, and their lives depend on donations coming in all year long. Now that we understand what the problem is, the next thing that we're going to talk about is learning a little bit more about donating blood. There are many things you can do to help your local bank, but the most important thing is having knowledge on what to expect when you get there and what to expect when donating blood. It's important to know the requirements for donating blood, along with having the knowledge of what the process is with blood donation. There are many things to take into consideration when donating blood. According to the American Red Cross Association, at the time of donating blood, you'll be evaluated to be determined if you are even eligible to donate. Some requirements is that you must be in good health and feeling well that day. You must be 17 years of age or older, and you must weigh at least 110 pounds. Another good thing to keep in mind is you are able to donate blood every 56 days. Think about that. If you were to start donating on a regular basis, you're looking at donating about 6 times a year. Think about if everyone was to donate blood that many times. This is amazing because just one donation can help save 3 people's lives. I've heard so many excuses as to why someone says they don't donate blood. I'm going to share with you right now a short clip that the American Red Cross created and some reasons of why we have these shortages. Let's see this, I'll see it. As you can see from that clip, there were many excuses as to why these people don't donate blood. One of the biggest ones that stuck out to me was people said that I'm afraid or it's unsafe. If you're sitting here and you're afraid of donating blood because you think it's unsafe, I want to share with you how safe donating blood actually is. When you donate blood, each donor gets a clean, sterile needle and is disposed of after its use. You cannot get HIV or other diseases from donating blood. And after you donate blood, if you don't know if you have something or if you're unaware or the patients, they always go through and they test your blood with multiple screenings before they even give it to a patient. If you say you don't have time, that was another excuse that was on there, the guy that worked all the time. I want you to be aware that the process of donating blood from the time you walk in the door, from the time you're done, only takes an hour. Now don't get discouraged and think you're gonna be donating blood the whole hour. The process of the actual donation of blood only takes 10 minutes. Where only about a pint of blood is donated, and the rest of the time includes a registration process, you get some health questions, you get a little mini physical, and you get refreshments when you're done to replenish your body. What about benefits for the donor? According to Michael Williams' article on the June 28, 2013, on the pros and cons of donating blood, it's been shown that being a blood donor decreases your cancer risks, reduces the risk of a heart attack, and it replenishes your blood. So your blood will remake itself in your body. On top of all the benefits, you also get a mini medical checkup, as I stated before, where they'll check your pulse, your blood pressure, your temperature, your cholesterol, and your hemoglobin levels. So the solution to this problem is going to have to be our citizens donating blood. It's really that simple. The solutions are out there, but it's making it a requirement that need to be done to make sure there's an adequate supply of blood and that there's not shortages. Will a requirement help our blood banks, or is it something that you don't think will make a difference? I believe that making blood donations as a requirement is the right way to go. Blood transfusions may not be a big part of your life right now. However, keeping your family, your friends, and our troops that are fighting for our country in mind is something that you need to do. Think about your father again for a moment, and he's in the hospital in need of that blood transfusion. Wouldn't you rather there be a big stock of blood because you're required to donate and be thankful that he can receive that transfusion, then there'd be a shortage. In the short amount of time that it takes to donate blood, if it was a requirement, everyone can donate, even a minimum of once a year. You wouldn't have to worry about a blood shortage or blood banks having to beg people to come down and donate. I'm sure sometime down the road you might need, somebody in your life might need a blood transfusion. Maybe you will need a blood transfusion. Right now, out of those that are able to donate, only a small fraction actually do it. Yet, you can all go to the mall and walk around for 2 hours, so what's an hour of your time to donate blood? What kind of difference would it make if our country required this? What kind of difference would it make to you? It's a difference between life and death. I have these flyers to hand out to each of you. It contains information. It's from the website, the American Red Cross, and they are doing blood drives 2 times this coming month in August. So everyone can go out and donate. And that's on the 11th and the 25th. I'm hoping by now that we've gone over enough information to where you're considering donating blood at your local community center in August. I've told you how donating to your local blood bank can save a life of someone you know or a person in need, and I believe that it should be required as us as citizens to donate blood at least once a year. We looked at why blood donations are important, the requirements for donating, and how it's required, and how if it was required to donate blood, how it could really help our community. Donating blood could solve having a blood shortage when it's needed the most. So when your father's having to have that surgery and needs that blood transfusion from that heart attack, you'll feel at ease knowing there's enough blood to support him.